Hey, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, bringing you a game I'm really excited to show you, Townsfolk Tussle. This game is currently on Kickstarter as of the airing of this video, and it's a boss battler in the vein of a lot of great games we've seen recently, like Kingdom Death Monster or Oathsworn. But in this case, there's no long, drawn-out campaign system. Instead, it is basically an endurance challenge. You're trying to get through 4 different bosses of increasing difficulty while trying to defend your town. And the theme idea here is that your sheriff has died, and now all of these ruffians and murderers and people are coming to try to take advantage of your weakness. So you control some of the villagers of this town, rising up to try to defend yourselves, and eventually one of you might become the new sheriff. And the game progresses through 2 main types of play. First, you have a town phase where you get some feats, you resolve some events, and you get to go shopping. Then you have a fight phase where you try to fight one of the bosses, and you go back and forth like that until either all of you die in a given fight, or until you get to the final fight against the 4th boss and try to defeat him. A quick reminder, by the way, that I never take compensation for my Kickstarter coverage. I just want to help you make an informed choice. And I'm going to quickly show you how to set up the game, then talk through the town phase, then talk through the rules of fighting before taking on our first ruffian, and then we'll keep pushing through and see how far we can fight. So first you have to pick your townsfolk, and the game plays 1 to 5, although when playing solo you're going to generally want to pick 2 or 3. I've got Quintus Binch, who's kind of this jerk kid around town who hits people with his bat and steals stuff. And I've got Georgie Irongut, the king of the town, but who's actually died and is possessed by this voracious kind of like plague demon inside of him, so just wants to eat all the time. So neither of them a very nice character, but hey, that means at least if I lose, I won't feel as bad. And each character has 4 starting stats in health, movement, moxie, which is kind of like your actions for interacting with terrain and attacking, and accuracy. And you'll see I've placed little tokens on their starting stats. So Georgie, for example, has 3 health, not very much, 4 movement, 4 moxie, and a -1 negative accuracy modifier at the moment. They each also get some starting gear. Georgie's got this big hammer from his father. I guess it's actually got his dad's head on it. And some stale cake that can heal 1 hit point. And Quintus has a fairly weak rubber bat and some stolen candy he can use to move himself around, I guess, in a fit of sugar. By the way, Quintus is more accurate than Georgie, faster than Georgie, has more health than Georgie, but half as much moxie. And in terms of special powers, Georgie can keep on eating the same special items again and again, like his stale cake, although only once per boss fight. And he can also move really quickly for 2 of his moxie. And Quintus gets to steal an item worth 5 coins or less at the start of each of the buying phases, and he can swap positions with Georgie for 2 moxie. So they both have some movement capabilities going on. There's not much else to set up besides your characters. You are going to take tokens for ruffians, shuffle them all together, there's a whole bunch of them, and build your order of 4. So I've got 4 face down here. This will be the first one I face. And I'm also going to take the tokens for my characters and just randomize who is first and second in initiative. It goes from bottom to top in the town phase in buying order. And then you can't see what it says, but it goes from top to bottom, starting with the ruffian for beating order in the fight phase. And finally, I need to fill the peddler's cart. She's always selling 10 gear cards. Look how giant that pile is. Oh, and a final note, each townsfolk gets 10 money to start out, so they can buy some stuff right off the bat. And as quick as that, we're ready to play. So to give you a quick overview of the towns phase, first we're going to get some feats of metal, which are basically little objectives we can achieve during the round, mainly during the fight, to get extra money, get stat boosts, and also try to make ourselves the sheriff at the end of the game. We'll also each resolve a town event, some of which would normally be hidden, although in the solo game you take all of those out, and they're all just kind of immediately resolved ones. Then we get to shop with the peddler, selling and buying items to make ourselves more powerful. We equip whatever gear we want, and we go and fight the boss. Now, solo does have a few rules differences. Like I said, you take all of these fun secret town events and just get rid of them for now. And normally each character would draw up to 3 feats of metal, but with solo you only draw 1, although you do check if it's possible to accomplish. If it's obvious that you can't, you can draw a different one. So for Quintus, he's going to have Gardener. End your turn inside an overgrown cornfield or a vegetable patch. The points on the bottom left are how many points towards becoming sheriff you have. And this is not a semi-co-op element, you still all have to win together, but whoever has the most points will be sheriff, and the sheriff gets a cool bonus, but also if they die in the final fight, you immediately lose. So you often want to make sure your sheriff is your toughest person, so you might want to kind of like mix and match these points to try to make sure everyone gets a fair share. But if I accomplish this, I immediately play this to either get the indicated number of coins, or for the rest of that boss fight, I gain this stat boost, so I'd have +1 movement. At the end of each boss fight, your stats reset, so it's not like this sticks around, but still, that's pretty cool. So I don't know if there will be a cornfield or a vegetable patch. We'll wait until we see the enemy. If there isn't, I'll just redraw one of those. Alright, Georgie's got another one that's pretty unlikely to happen. Out with the old. Complete a fight with none of your starting gear equipped the entire time. I think that still counts as achievable because I could get a new weapon and just not equip my cake. I might even try to do that. And 4 gold is a pretty nice bonus, so yeah. Next we resolve a town event in character order. And actually Georgie's at the bottom, so he should go first. Bump and run. You collide with a fleeing townsfolk, causing both of you to fall and drop some gear. The other townsfolk frantically grabs their goods and runs, leaving you to pick up the rest. What an oaf. Wait a minute, this isn't yours, and where'd your weapon go? Discard one of your weapons at random, receive the first weapon from the peddler deck. Well, hey, it's making out with the old seem easier to accomplish. I'm losing my dad's head hammer, which does do 2 damage. That's a rough one to lose, potentially. Instead, I'm getting a ranged one-handed weapon, a crippler's wand. So 2 moxie out of my 4 to fire, only 1 damage. But, let's see. So it has 5 range, and I can lose 2 movement to make a ruffian within 5 squares lose 1 movement stat. That actually might be great for Georgie, because he's got this ability, Quick Trotter, that lets him move 4 spaces for 2 moxie. He's got enough moxie to attack with the wand and use that ability. So I might be able at least a few times to spam the ruffian and take away a lot of their movement, and then use my ability to run away and just leave them kind of messed up. We'll see. Shaky hands. All the commotion around Eureka Springs is really getting to you. Looks like you're developing a case of the jitters. Keep this card in front of you for the next fight. Unless it is the final fight, you cannot activate any terrain. Okay, so you'll see how terrain works in a moment, but I'm not going to be able to use any of it. So with events done, we get to shop. And Quintus has, remember, his petty theft ability, so he can grab an item that costs 5 or less. And the only one is, okay, Quintus, you little teenager, the Busty Brazier. It's a chest gear. You've got space for head, chest, and leg on the left, 1 of each. So for 1 moxie, I can unequip it, then search the action discard pile. Those are the AI cards that the bosses already use. They each have their own unique deck, and remove it from the game. So, not super great. I'm probably just going to sell it. You can sell items for half their cost over here on the right, rounded down, so that'd be worth 2 money for me. Alright, and technically we go in buying order. We can either sell or buy 1 item at a time. But, you know, that's a little bit silly in solo. We can just kind of go in whatever order we want. So first, I do think Quintus is going to sell the Brazier to get himself to 2 more money, 12 total. And actually, looking at the nasty weapons available, I think I'm going to sell this wand for 5 and try to get something better. You could get a rickety bow, and to explain weapons, you'll see how many hands you need to use out of your 2 to equip it. This one's got 6 range. Moxie is how much of your moxie or actions you have to use to actually attack with it. And Quintus only has 2 moxie, so unless he got a boosting item, he literally could not fire this bow. But if he did, he'd have to roll on a d10 a 5 or higher to hit it, modified by his accuracy, and that's how much damage he would deal to the ruffian. Now, by the way, quick note, during the buying phase, we can spend 2 times the number of players, so that would be 4 in this case, or characters, I should say, to completely get rid of all the cards in the current market and have the peddler put out a new set of 10 cards. And that money, 4 in this case, can be divided however we want. So Quintus could spend it all, Georgie could spend it all, it could be 1 and 3, whatever. Wait, I'm not sure about Quintus, but let's look at Georgie's options. So we've got 3 pretty interesting ranged weapons. 2 of them will cost all of Georgie's money. The hand cannon's a little bit less. Both the hand cannon and big barrel can shoot for 3 damage, pretty nice, and decent accuracy, but they can only be used once every other turn, so that takes him down a little bit. Big barrel clearly is better with taking only 2 moxie. Now the pea shooter, I'm really interested in. Look, it's only 4 range. It only costs 1 moxie, but you can shoot with it up to 3 times, and since Georgie's got 4 moxie, he could do that. Now he's got -1 accuracy, and it's a 7+, so he would need to roll an 8 or higher, but 3 chances for an 8 or higher, and each doing 2 damage potentially, that's not bad. And if I can get Georgie a plus accuracy item, that would be ridiculous. So I think I gotta try for it. Georgie's gonna spend all his money to get a pea shooter, even though it seems like Quintus might prefer that type of weapon. For Quintus, I'm looking at 2 main things. Greased Boots would let him spend 2 moxie to move 4 squares in a straight line, basically giving him a similar ability to Georgie's, although he's pretty fast. Bloody Wand is very interesting. I can deal 1 damage to myself to deal 2 damage to a ruffian within 5 range. Quintus has more life than Georgie, so he could afford to use that a few times, and he's fast enough that he might be able to use the Bloody Wand and then just run away. I like the idea of it, at least. We can sell it later if it doesn't work out that well. And I think we're going to stop there. So all these get discarded. And now we choose what we want to have equipped going into the battle. I'm going to unequip Georgie's stale cake, because that way I can get out with the old and for money by just having non-starting items equipped the entire time. And you can hold as many items as you want in your inventory, and for 2 Moxie on your turn, you can equip something that's kind of held in there. So you could like switch out weapons and that kind of stuff. Alright, and Georgie's good to go with his bat and wand. So that's it for the towns phase. Let's see who our ruffian is, explain how the fighting phase works, and get to it. So you flip the peddler board over, and they have a nice little summary of what you do to set up the fight phase, as well as a space for the ruffian stats, action cards in their discard pile, and their health and movement. And my first ruffian will be Lawman Dozy. So each of the ruffian has their own board with some fun backstory. In this case, Lawman Dozy was the original sheriff of the town, but he started going a little bit too sleepy all the time, falling asleep on the job. And the first thing we need to look at on the back is the setup and which terrain tiles are in play. There's all this extra stuff about the final fight, but that's only if Lawman Dozy is our 4th ruffian. So that's kind of a cool thing. Whoever ends up being the 4th one gives you an entirely unique scenario with special objectives. But for here, you'll see the big R is the ruffian. They take up 4 squares. T's are possible spots for your townsfolk. And all these terrain tiles go out. So let's go ahead and look at that real quick. So here we go. I've got it all set up. We've got a vegetable patch over here, a forest and a cornfield, a wishing well, a pond, a farmer's house, and a car. And each of these terrain tiles has a reference card that goes out for it. I've kind of got them in order of where they show up left to right. And most of these give you the option to interact with them in some way during your turn, although not for Quintus because of the event he drew. Like you can drive the car into the ruffian for damage. You can go to the wishing well and spend some money to try to get some healing or an item. You can get lost in the cornfield, takes longer to walk through the woods. You can heal in the vegetable patch, ask the farmer to shoot the ruffian with a shotgun. Lots of fun, varied stuff. And here is Lawman Dozy. I think in the actual game this will be a miniature. And he's right here, taking up 4 spaces. Sometimes his facing matters, it depends on the ruffian, but usually not that often, so we'll worry about it if we need to. And I can put Quintus and Georgie where I think they should go. Let's have them somewhat divided up for now. And now the initiative order changes. The ruffian's token goes to the top, which means we'll have the Lawman go first, then Quintus, then Georgie. And Lawman Dozy's reference card goes right up here. And a few things to note, it'll tell you what his starting health and movement are, 8 and 6 in this case for 2 players. And also what special abilities he gets. Now for Chump, when you're first fighting the first ruffian, they get no special powers. But then you get unique ones at each level, and then, like I said, for the final fight, you get a unique scenario. So down here we can track it, 6 movement, 8 health. And we take his unique AI action deck, shuffle it up, and put it on its spot. And with that, setup is ready for the fight. So to quickly give you the overview of how a fight goes, first the ruffian will take a turn. You'll flip the top card of his deck, and to show you a sample one from a different deck, you'll see first it says who the target is. It'll often be like the closest townsfolk or the farthest or the one with the least hit points. And then it'll say what they do, moving toward them by the shortest path. They basically ignore terrain except for blocking obstacles. How much damage they do. A lot of times it'll have an after effect down here that if they do at least 1 damage to somebody, that gets activated. And that's their entire turn. You just put the card on the discard pile, although some cards will have you reshuffle or activate more actions. You'll see how it goes. Then we get our turns, Quintus and then Georgie. And on your turn, first of all, you can move up to your movement stat, and you can sprinkle that in along with actions and attacks and all those kind of things as much as you want. And everything in this game for both ruffians and for your townsfolk is orthogonal. So if I want to move 4, for example, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't go diagonally. At any point during your turn, you can use Moxie up to your maximum Moxie stat. Each weapon can attack once per turn, unless of course you have the pea shooter with its special ability. And again, you roll a d10, add or subtract your accuracy modifier. If you get the number or higher, you hit and deal that much damage, moving their health down. You can also, during your turn, use Moxie to interact with terrain. Like I could drive the old jalopy for 1 Moxie, interact and try to roll an 8+ to make it drive over the ruffian. And gear and characters will have special powers too. Like Georgie, remember, can use 2 Moxie to move 4 squares in a straight line. Once you've moved as much as you want to and used as much Moxie as you want to, it moves on to the next character, back to the ruffian, you get the idea. The only very important thing to note are the little red spaces on the ruffian's health. These are called breakpoints. And you trigger a breaking point whenever you move their health down to that number or move past it. Now for 2 players, we're ignoring the 7, so we're only going to have 1 generally. And what that means is when you reach 1 after your attack is done, you immediately end your turn, and the ruffian gets a free turn, breaking the beating order. So they'll still get their regular turn when it comes around to them. Oh, and a final note, these prototype D10s don't have it, but a natural 10 has an exclamation point, and it's called a critical hit. And when that happens, you roll another d10 and get to see what happened. Like you might do extra damage or lower the ruffian stats, fun stuff like that. And I didn't note with terrain, if they have a brown border and say obstacle, then you can't walk through them and neither can the ruffian. If they have a green border and say feature, you can. Although the dense woods cost 2 movement per space, and no one can move into the town pond, barring special powers. So let's see what Lawman Dozy does. Detain. Dozy declares you under arrest. Target is closest townsfolk. And we count that by seeing how far it would take to walk to them, so it's certainly going to be Georgie. Okay, move to target. If Dozy reaches them, deal 1 damage. We want to make them go on the shortest path possible, although we can pick when it's tied. So here, let's go have him go in between through the cornfield. 5, he's kind of falling off the cornfield there, but he did reach him. That means Georgie's down to 2 health. And then because he reached somebody and hurt them, we do the after effect. Dozy puts the target in handcuffs and throws him over his shoulder. Remove target from the board. If Dozy takes damage, return the target to the board on any space adjacent to him. Yikes. Lucky for us, though, the turn order is in our favor, because Quintus is going to be able to hit him, and then Georgie will still be able to go. So speaking of, it is Quintus's turn. He's got a rubber bat he can hit them with, and also don't forget his bloody wand to take 1 damage to deal 2. For the bat, he has to be adjacent, and he's got 5 movements. So let's go 1, 2. And he's got a 0 accuracy modifier, so a 5+ will hit. Not quite. Alright, so just so we don't lose Georgie's turn, I'm going to go ahead and take 1 damage to use the Bloody Wand and do 2. And do note that Quintus's feat is possible. If he gets into the overgrown cornfield or the vegetable patch, he can either gain a money or +1 movement. So Dozy's down to 6 life. Remember, we're not using that breaking point in 2-player. Georgie can pop out over here, I guess. And Quintus has 2 movement left, although if you start your turn in the overgrown cornfield, you have a chance of losing your turn. But still, I think he's going to move over there to gain his feat. So he immediately gets this, and I think I'm going to go for the 1 coin, because usually the first fight is not too tough. And I do keep this with Quintus just for that 1 point to show that he's 1 point of the way toward becoming the sheriff. Alright, Georgie is next. Now, interesting thing, remember he can shoot his pea shooter 3 times, but the second that he hits, he's going to do 2 damage and get Dozy into a breaking point, so then he won't be able to shoot anymore. So with that being the case and this having 4 range, let's go ahead and use Georgie's movement to get a bit out of the way. 1, 2, 3. So he's still 4 away orthogonally, and features don't block line of sight, only obstacles do, and then you do corner to corner. And he's got 3 chances to hit on an 8+. The first one that hits will trigger the breaking point and end his turn. Try 1. Nope. 1 always misses. Nope. And... oh, there we go. And also a critical hit. So they have a card that says the effect, but I don't have it in my prototype, so I'll just roll and tell you what happens. Oh my gosh. So 1 means my turn immediately ends and he gets an extra action, and these are cumulative, so he's going to take 3 actions in a row. 1 from the breaking point, 1 from the botched critical, and then his regular turn. Good luck to us. On guard, Dozy closes his eyes, but seems more threatening than ever. His target is the farthest townsfolk, so that'll be Georgie again. Move to target. If Dozy reaches them, deal 1 damage, and Dozy falls asleep until his next action. So we'll put him right there. Georgie's down to 1 life. And Dozy falling asleep doesn't have any effect in and of itself, but as he levels up, it does different things, and also some of his cards might interact with it. Toppling Crush. Dozy charges forward and faceplants in a napping position. Okay, face the closest townsfolk and move forward. Deal 2 damage to any townsfolk that collides with Dozy. Then Dozy falls asleep again. Alright, so wow, Georgie is already out of it. Yikes. Dozy's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, his facing is there, but it usually doesn't matter. Now his third action, challenge. You think you're better than me, kid? Targets the townsfolk with the highest total feats of medal points, which is only Quintus. Move to target, and if he reaches them, trigger the after effect, but I'm pretty sure he won't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so he's just 1 shy. So Quintus could be in trouble, but he does have the Bloody Wand to do automatic damage if he can just stay out of this guy's way. But first, let's see if he even gets a turn. On a 1 to 3, he skips his turn. 4 to 9, he's fine. If he gets a 10, he'll get a free item from the peddler deck hidden in the corn. Alright, so nothing special, but we're okay. So now if I move my full 5, he can still reach me. And I can't interact with terrain, like going to the car to run him over, or going to the farmhouse. So I think my best bet is to hit him with a Bloody Wand, run as far as I can, and just hope that he can't do 2 damage to me, because I have 3, -1 for using the wand. Well, I guess I might as well try to use my bat, so let's move 1. Need a 5+ again. Got it, so that's 1 damage, he's down to 3. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm not going to use the wand yet because I don't remember if I win, if I die and they die at the same time. And erratic driver. Dozy reaches for his car keys. Oh no! Okay, targets the old jalopy terrain piece. That's all the way up there. If the target is not on the board, remove this card from the game and play the next card. Move the target. If Dozy ends his turn adjacent to the target, trigger the after effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just barely not, because diagonal does not count. Oh my gosh, he would have done 2 damage to me, and that might have been the end, but it's not happening. Alright, so on my turn, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just try to give myself some space. Now, it sucks that I can't use any of the terrain, because there's not much I can do with my Moxie otherwise. Now, I can eat my candy to move anywhere on the entire board, but I'd love to save that for the next fight. Alright, Dozy, disarm! Dozy deftly smacks your weapon right out of your hand. If we're within 3 squares, which we're not, then he moves toward the farthest townsfolk, and then falls asleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's try our luck. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Swing my bat at him again. He's only got 3 life left. Come on. Yes, that's a hit, so he's down to 2 life. And then I'll bloody wand him, taking myself down to 2 life, and he is defeated. And that does mean that Georgie completed his goal, so he'll have 2 points towards being sheriff and 4 more money. Nice. And when you finish off a ruffian, a few things happen. First of all, everyone gets 6 money. Secondly, you look at who achieved the most feats in that battle, and the value doesn't matter, just the number of cards. We both got 1. In the case of a tie, we're going to roll off, and highest gets the glory, which is, in this case, one of Lawman Dozy's 3 unique items into our gear slots. So we'll say Quintus is green, Georgie is red. Okay. And, alright, so that means Georgie's getting this one. And he's getting a fake badge, which is an accessory. Which isn't necessarily the best thing for me because I like to have healing accessories, remember, and I can use them over and over again. This one says, when any townsfolk achieves a feat during a fight, you restore 1 hit point. I might just sell that for 4. And a final little thing, top of the turn order goes to the bottom, so now Quintus will be first in buying order and last in beating order. And with that, we jump right back into a town phase. Oh, and now Quintus's shaky hands are done. If we had a feat we hadn't completed, we could discard it so that we could draw new ones. But here we're just going to get 1 again. So for Georgie, I just have to enter the woods or the ditch. We'll see if those are in the battle. For Quintus, I can pay 10 coins to achieve it, which it does not seem worth it at all. I'll probably just throw away that one, although it is technically achievable, so I can't just switch it out. Now you each get a town event, starting with Quintus. You reach for a piece of your gear that's completely crusted over with blood and guts. It crumbles in your hands. You really need to take better care of your equipment. I have to discard something. Let's get rid of my stolen candy, which would have been gone after 1 use anyway. Quintus, not much luck with these events. Let's see about Georgie. Waiting for trouble. You spend some time finding the perfect spot to set up an ambush. You may place yourself adjacent to any terrain piece on the landscape at the start of the next fight. That is nice. We can get ourselves next to something that'll do some damage to the boss. Alright, let's see our items. So bad luck for Quintus. None of these cost 5, so his ability doesn't go off. But here's something I think Quintus would like, especially to go with his bloody wand. For 1 Moxie, which he would still have enough to use his bat with. You can deal 2 damage to a ruffian within 3 range once per fight. That is awesome. Oh, and sorry, I should say, all their stats reset to whatever their starting values were. And sadly, at the moment, I don't see anything that'll increase Georgie's accuracy to make his pea shooter better. Well, let's see, instead of keeping the wand, maybe, I could replace my rubber bat with a hive on a stick. Or actually, I could keep the wand, couldn't I? Because it's one-handed. Now, it's another thing, it hurts me. If I attack with it and roll a 1 on my attack, I take 2 damage, but it's pretty easy to hit with, and 2 damage, and I don't know, that is a pretty negative effect, though. I could get a pitch spork instead. That would replace my wand and my bat, but 5 accuracy and 2 damage at 2 range, not too bad. But for now, I think automatic damage in a 2-player game when their health is pretty low is just too good to pass up, so let's get that dynamite for Quintus. I think Georgie will sell the fake badge for 4, so he's got 14. And you know what? I really want something with plus accuracy, so let's have them each spend 2 to switch all these things out. Some nice guns, but I still like my pea shooter. Honestly, I think this is the best thing I can buy for Georgie. Look, it's a 3 hit point restoring lemonade consumable, but don't forget, he can use consumables over and over. Most characters would discard them. So I'm going to have that equipped. My stale cake is hanging out for another 1 hit point of healing. So that should be good. I can use that on Quintus or on me. With that, let's get to our next ruffian. In this case, it's going to be Penny Pinchetti, the tax collector. Here she is. She's mad that we have not paid our taxes in quite a while. And now we are going to have a special power for her. Since she is a hooligan, the second one to show up, Torture tax. Whenever a player loses coins from an action, they must lower their movement, moxie, or accuracy by 1. Remember, stats don't stay lowered forever, but that can be nasty. She's got 9 health, more than the last guy did, and 6 movement. Now let's quickly set up her board and talk about the new terrain pieces. And talking about our new terrain, the Doc's Hut gives you a chance to bring somebody back to life. The dangerous ditch takes extra movement to get through, but you can search it for an item. The foul outhouse you can attack to deal 2 damage to everyone close to it. And the deserted picnic you can search for an item as well. So I think I want Quintus as far away as possible. And don't forget I can start Georgie adjacent to any terrain piece. Let's do the picnic, I guess. Alright, let's see what Penny's doing for her first turn. Pitiless Punch. A punch directly to the wallet. All townsfolk within 4, there aren't any. And then she still moves toward the farthest townsfolk, which is going to be Georgie over there. So there we go. She cleared the ditch because they are not affected by features that have like extra terrain costs. And Georgie's first with his pea shooter and his lemonade, and he can try to get to the ditch to get his course plow. Maybe I should have just started next to that. And it's okay. She's got 9 life. Remember, she's going to get an extra action when she gets to 4. She's just within 4 range, so let's start trying to pea shooter her first. First attempt. Oh, gosh. That's 2 damage. Second attempt. No. And do I want to do a third, or do I want to search the picnic? I think I'd rather search the picnic while I'm here, so I need an 8+ to find something. Just barely not. Now, I can move up to 4, so I think I'll go... Oh, and actually, I would have had to be on the picnic, so 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to reach me again anyway? Probably. All right, meanwhile, Quintus will move 1 and try to hit her with his bat. Needs a 5+. No. So you could do the 1-2 combo of the Bloody Wand and the Dynamite to get her down to 3 life. This does not feel fair. Sorry, I kind of have this weird mix of items that's making the playthrough go probably faster than it should. Well, let's see. He will use the Dynamite to get her down to 5, and then he can use the Wand from up to 5 away, so we may as well move a bit. He'll go towards the farm. 1, 2, 3, 4. That can heal him or give him a shotgun blast on the boss. And now he'll take 1 damage, getting himself down to 3 to do 2 to her. That gets her to 3 life, and she takes an immediate action, so it'll be a double turn. First one, bribed and beaten. You're slipped a couple coins. You'll take it from here. The poorest townsfolk, that'll be Quintus. He only has 3. Okay, move to target. She will reach him. 1, 2, 3. The target is bribed. They receive 2 coins. The target is placed adjacent to the townsfolk closest to them, regardless of distance. That townsfolk is punched by the target for 1 damage. Hilarious. Totally seems in character for Quintus, to be honest, though, so Georgie's down to 2 life. And remember, her hooligan ability was when we lost coins from her, not gained them, so we didn't have to lose any stats for that. Okay, her normal turn? Insurance fees. You'll be paying for damages! Target closest townsfolk. Move toward the target. Trigger the after effect, then play the next card in the action deck. Oh, so it's going to happen no matter what. So closest would be Quintus again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, place this card in front of the target. Whenever they deal damage to Pinchetti, they lose 2 coins. If the target has no coins to give after dealing damage, they discard this card. Well, I guess he'll be giving her money back soon. Next card happens. Bankroll Barrage. Pinchetti hurls a myriad of coins at the townsfolk. Okay, Penny uses her massive stockpile of coins to pelt the townsfolk. All townsfolk take 1 damage and receive 3 coins. Move towards the poorest townsfolk, so she'll just stay next to Quintus. Well, Quintus is down to 1 life, Georgie down to 2, but hey, she ain't half bad. We're definitely getting a lot of money. So Georgie's up. If he can pea shoot her twice, she will die. But Quintus has a chance to make that happen anyway, so let's go ahead and move here and search the picnic first. Come on, need that 8+. No. Alright, so now I've still got 2 Moxie left to shoot her twice. Oh, that's 1 hit. She's down to 1 life. And no. I guess that means I'm not going to get to the dense woods or the ditch. I forgot about that. Alright, Quintus does need to use her wand. Hit her with the bat, buddy. Boom! Taken down. So again, apologies, these fights are going so quickly. I gotta use the cards I'm given. Georgie now goes below Quintus in order. And neither of us got any feats. So we'll roll off to see who gets the item. Quintus is green. And, okay, Georgie's just enacting his royal rights and taking everything. Ooh, safe armor. +1 max hit points per 3 coins you own to a maximum of 3. That is nice. And if Georgie didn't spend anything, he would have 6 hit points. That is not bad at all. Alright, and 6 more money for each of my boys. Oh, I forgot. Quintus did hit her, didn't he? So I guess he lost 2 money before he finished. So let's go to another town phase. I think I'm going to throw away both of these because I don't know if that'll even be in the next one. Philanthropist, pay 5 coins. I mean, he could, so I guess he has to take it. And Quintus, be the first townsfolk to damage the ruffian. He is first in beating order, so that'll be easy to do. Although it's only 1 coin or +1 movement, not huge. And the key thing to note is if I can keep the safe armor and the +3 hit points, I would be a great sheriff because it'd be very hard to kill Georgie. And he's ahead with 2 points, so I might want to keep him ahead with his healing and all of that. Okay, town event for Georgie. Agoraphobia. Why does it feel like everyone's staring at you? Do you swing your weapon weird? Is your gear on backward? Whatever the case is, you need to stay out of the limelight for a bit and let your anxiety settle down. Keep this card in front of you. For the next fight, whenever you're not inside or adjacent to a terrain place at the end of your turn, you take 1 damage. Okay. Meanwhile for Quintus, cooked kitty. A small cottage is on fire, most likely from a no-good ruffian. You see a frightened kitty on the roof. It looks like he's in trouble. So do I have consumable equipment? At this point I do not. So I scale a nearby tree and reach for the kitty, but it looks confused. It swiftly jumps down to the ground, leaving you looking like a chump. For the next fight you have -1 moxie. Well, that's a bit rough, because now I can't use the dynamite and hit with the bat on the same turn. Although I guess since the dynamite is single use, it's not a big deal. Alright, peddler time. Ooh, lots of 5-cost items. I could get a very cheap-to-use ranged weapon for Quintus. Or we could steal some hard liquor or a stale potion. Hard liquor lowers his accuracy, but +1 damage, although he's not really accurate that much to begin with. But stale potion is pretty good. Can heal up to 2, so I'll put that in his inventory. You can theoretically equip it after the dynamite, maybe. Alright, they both got a lot of money. I know I said I wanted to save money for Georgie's armor. But look, fly glasses. You may roll twice for each accuracy roll and use the roll of your choice. That's amazing with a pea shooter, especially if I can later get an actual accuracy bonus. That leaves me with 1 money, so the safe armor is not going to help at all for the moment, but I still think I'll keep it. Holy crud. Wizard's robes? Can I afford it? Your staves and wands gain this ability. For 1 moxie, deal 1 damage to a ruffian within 4 square automatically. Oh man, bloody wand, stick of dynamite, wizard's robes. But I'm shy 2 money. And the only things I could sell would be the wand, the dynamite, or the potion. Weird, what if I didn't steal the potion? What if I stole the stones just to sell them for 2, and then I can spend all my money getting those robes? I like that plan, let's do it. So I've got robes, my max health is 5 now. And I guess that's going to be it, because we are broke. Who's our third target? The Bundits. And here they are, they look like a horde of rabbits, I guess. For Troublemaker, grab the legs. Townsfolk that start their turn next to the Bundits take 1 damage, then lose 1 movement and 1 accuracy. Oh my gosh. And they have 9 health, 6 movement, like the last one. Let's see, we got the vegetable patch again. That one's been very popular. The doctor's hut, the fence blocks movement. We've got the farmhouse, the picnic that we were never able to actually get anything from, and a moat that you can only cross over the bridge. So with that ability in mind, I think we want to be far apart if we can. All right, let's see what the Bundits have in store. Latch on. A small Bundip leaps away from the group and latches to your chest. Closest townsfolk. If the target is within 4 range... looks like, yes, Quintus is. They take 1 damage. Then this guy moves forward. Well, then after, Quintus has to roll. On a 0 to 4, I skip my next turn. Darn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can get pushed in either direction. 6. Oh, man, that means he is going to start next to me. Let's see if Quintus gets a turn. Oh, I guess he does. Good. He wants to get his first blood, don't forget. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or actually, wait, let's go there, because then we'll be in range of the TNT. So for 1 moxie, I'll use the wizard's robes for 1 damage. 1 moxie, I'll throw the stick of dynamite. That's 3. They're down to 6 life. And actually, you know what? As terrible as it might be, I think I'm just going to go and use the bloody wand to get them to 4 and have their double turn happen. Because then Georgie might be able to pea shoot them, and also he won't be starting his turn next to them, hopefully. So we get a turn before Georgie. Feign aid. A smaller Bundit cowers over to you, offering aid. Closest townfolk, that's Georgie. Okay, turn around and move forward. A Bundit offers the target a drink, which they gladly accept. The target heals for 1 hit point. Actually, he wasn't hurt yet, though. The Bundit skulks away, and the target's stomach rumbles. Keep this card in front of the target. When the Bundit's action deck would be reshuffled, the target takes 2 damage if this card is shuffled back into the deck. Hilarious. 1, 2, 3, pushing. 4, 5, 6. Awesome. So we're actually not going to have to deal with the effect yet. All right, Georgie gets to go. Can I kill him? 4 range on my weapon. Let's go 1, 2, 3. That would get me close enough. Now you shoot up to 3 times. Got to hit twice. I still need an 8 plus to hit, but now with my fly glasses, I get a double chance. So first attack. Yes, and it's a crit. Let's roll for what it does. It's another damage, so that is 3. He's down to 1 life. Second attack. This is, again, feeling a little unfair. Miss. And we'll go for a third attack. Why not? Oh my gosh, another crit. And okay, so I think I would have lowered his stats, but doesn't matter. Wow. Bundits. Sorry, you are the victim of all the damage-dealing items ever. Oh, so Quintus did get first blood for 1 coin, which means he'll get the item from the boss, which is a Bundit's cloak. I already have a cloak. So it's +1 moxie. For 1 moxie, swap places with the townsfolk within 5 squares. Well, Quintus already has a somewhat better version of that. So that's going to be 4 money for him. And here we go, rushing into the finale. They both got, what is that, 7 money. I might want to sell some to get my safe armor fully powered. I threw away Georgie's card that makes him spend money. So now he's going to get Reckless, end your turn adjacent to the ruffian to deal 1 damage to the ruffian. Heck yes, because remember, the money won't matter since it's the final fight. And Quintus activated non-consumable gear ability. I mean, yeah, that's Stick of Dynamite, or Bloody Wand, or Wizard Robes, any of them, so awesome. Alright, and Quintus's town event is first. Bar visit. You decide to visit the bar. You may choose to pay 2 coins. If you do roll plus max moves, that'd be plus 5. So that would not be possible. You drink a bit too much. You cannot shop during the town phase. Discard a piece of gear and receive a piece of ruffian gear at random. Begin the next fight on the bottom left corner of the landscape. Or plus 1 maximum hit points. You have a pretty good chance of 3+. And I might be the sheriff, so extra life would be nice. Yeah, let's go for it. Oh man, I just realized I cheated because I'd had 1 moxie instead of 2, so I couldn't have used the wizard's robe for the 1 extra damage. I think the guy was probably dead anyway, but he would have gotten at least 1 more turn. Alright, so Quintus is doing some underage drinking. We don't recommend this, folks. And 3 plus 5 is the minimum I needed, so I have 6 max hit points instead of 5 with my robes. How about Georgie, whose agoraphobia is done? Calm and calculated. Considering all your friends and family are being murdered, you're managing to stay quite composed. You decide to survey the landscape ahead and prepare for the worst. For the next fight, add +2 to terrain rolls. Nice, we can activate things more easily. Alright, let's see our final peddler cards. So I don't think Georgie wants to buy anything because the safe armor is going to give him +2 right now. Can Quintus steal anything? I guess the rabbit's foot. +1 on terrain rolls, although I'd have to unequip the dynamite. I already have my other accessory that's not equipped. No, I sold that, didn't I? So you could sell this to get up to 7, and sell the Bandit's Cloak to get to 11. And I guess the best I can do from that is the Healer's Bonnet. Gives me a way to heal people, but I think more important is the +1 movement to get to me to 6. Alright, so I think that's it. Let's go. So remember, we're going to have a special scenario based on the final boss. And here it's Will Barlow. It looks like he is the former Undertaker that has brought some ghosts back with him. And here we go, the necessary sacrifice. The chaos is almost under control when the team feels the ground rumble. In the distance you see Will Barlow lumbering towards your group, his barrow filled to the brim with gravestones and ghastly ghouls. The spirits seem to form a protective barrier around Barlow. They're going to be a problem, but how do you kill what's already dead? One of the other townsfolk pulls out a dark-stained bucket. They seem to have a plan in mind. As first, we're going to appoint a sheriff and give them the knife and bucket unique gear. And since we're both tied for 2 points, Georgie only completed out with the old, and Quintus has first blood and gardener. We're going to roll off. High becomes the sheriff, so Quintus will be green. Wow, I guess they don't really want the job. There we go, Quintus is sheriff, and he has 6 life. Georgie has 5, so I'm pretty okay with that. So Quintus gets his handy-dandy knife and bucket. Okay, that's better than his bat. That's cool. Oh no, it's two-handed. Ah, my bloody wand! So for 2 moxie, you or an adjacent townsfolk take 1 damage and place a ritual mark terrain piece adjacent to you. And what do those do? That's the special thing in this case. Ritual marks are created by the knife and bucket. A max of 5 can be placed and they cannot be removed from the board for any reason. Barlow can only take damage when he's standing completely inside of a ritual mark. Oh, well, this is certainly going to slow down my immediate victory from other battles. And let's see, we've got a beehive, haystack, and a tool shed. Those are new, plus the farmhouse, the barn, the ditch, and the picnic. And to talk through our new stuff, we've got the pond back, the picnic. Anyone who starts their turn next to it takes 1 damage. And the tool shed we can go over to get an item from, although a rat might bite us. And yeah, this is rough for sure, but I'm going to unequip my wand and my bat to have Quintus have the knife and bucket. We'll see if we can do enough damage. Hopefully Georgie will hit with that pea shooter. Let's have Quintus kind of closer to him to taunt him over, and then he can put down a ritual mark, and Georgie can shoot him, hopefully. And by the way, he's got 8 health and 7 movement, definitely faster. Remember, we lose if everyone is knocked out or just the sheriff. To whom we got to defeat him by hitting him while he's on the ritual marks. And a special objective, if Quintus can defeat Georgie by using the knife and bucket, remember it takes a damage to put down one of those marks, then we'll get a little special victory. We get to read these little things based on how we do. But Barlow is first. Let's see what he does. 6 feet under. Barlow plans on sending you to the grave. Closest townsfolk. I think that's Quintus, but let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so we haven't had this yet, but when people are equidistant, they both roll a die, and lowest gets targeted. So Quintus is green again. And good. I did want him to get attacked. Barlow will clearly reach me and deal 1 damage. Oh god, Barlow unloads a pile of dirt and bones on top of the target. Keep this card in front of the target. They must skip their turn until they're dug out. Another townsfolk can do so by ending their turn next to the target with at least 2 moxie remaining. Once they do, discard this card. Wow, good god. Thankfully, Georgie is first, so that won't be too bad. Oh wait, but can he get there? It's 2 to go through the ditch. Actually, I can, but it's a fairly goofy way I have to do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to use my Quick Trotter ability for 2 moxie to move 4 exactly. Use my last movement to move down, and now I have 2 moxie left. I'm going to end my turn, dig out good old Quintus. Oh, but the cruddy thing about Quintus going second is the guy has to stay there. Okay. Well, let's try this out. I'll deal 1 damage. This is all of his Moxie to Georgie, I guess. And put our first of 5 right underneath the guy. And that'll activate Technician, so I get +1 accuracy. And I guess I'll stay there and hope he doesn't move. Bone Fling. Barlow spins in circles, flinging bones all around him. All within 3 squares is both of us. All targets are bonked with a barrage of dusty bones. 1 damage and 1 accuracy. Yuck. And then he moves towards the closest, so he stays where he is. That part's good. Alright, let's try to take this guy down as much as we can. So Georgie sadly now needs a 9 to hit with his pea shooter, but I've got the double chance, so let's go for it. First attack. No. Second attack. Yes, and a crit. Come on. Give me something good. A 5 means he's -1 movement. So he's at a 6 movement overall and down to 6 life. And we can do 1 more attack. And let's see, I think I'm going to have Georgie move right next to him just to encourage him to stay there just a little bit longer. And I could use my Lemonade to heal Quintus back from 4 to 6. I mean, it's wasting 1 healing, but why not? And now Quintus gets a turn. We can try to stab him with the knife and bucket. If we miss, we can throw the dynamite. Here we go. We need a 5+. Boom. So that'll trigger his turn, which means we stop immediately, but the dynamite's not used yet. So double turn for Barlow. First, Ankle Roller. Barlow crushes your dainty ankles. Target with the lowest movement, that would be Georgie. Move to target. If Barlow reaches them, deal 1 damage, yes. Then I have to roll on a 1 to 4. I lose 2 movement. On a 5+, I can't move next turn. Neither should be too terrible. Okay, so I can't move next turn, but I can still act. Okay, Barlow's regular turn. Let's see if he stays and makes us lucky. Haunting Presence. The soul inside Barlow's bearers are really creeping you out. Turn toward the closest townsfolk and move forward. No! Then all townsfolk within 3 squares are haunted for 1 damage. So that won't happen. Because we're both getting pushed out of the way. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, stay up there. Oh, so now Georgie can't move and attack. Oh, whoops, I forgot though. He did end his turn next to the ruffian. So that would have been 1 damage while he was in the mark. So he's down to 3 life. Yeah, so all Georgie's going to do is use 2 Moxie to equip his cake again. And then I guess he'll use it on himself to go back to 3 life. And Quintus, of course, will 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stop there because I don't think I can overlap terrain and put it right here. And that way, hopefully, he'll move 1 into it because he has to be fully in to get hit. And Quintus will use his own blood for that, so he's down to 5 life again. All right, Barlow's going. Ghostly Touch. Barlow's ghost friends chill to the touch. Face the closest townsfolk and move forward 3 squares. That is definitely too many. Ghost reach out from Barlow's barrow. All townsfolk within 3 squares have their equipped accessories frozen solid by a ghost touch. The gear's discarded. So he pushed Quintus up to there. Huh. And by the way, he froze the dynamite I was going to finish him off with. But that's okay. Let's try to keep him trapped so Georgie can move again. He'll just go right here, I guess. Lay down another one of those, and we've got an almost uninterrupted line here now, so that gives us a better chance, I guess. Possess gear. Barlow sends one of his ghost pals your way. Closest townsfolk will have to roll off. Remember, lowest gets targeted. Okay, it's Georgie. A ghost launches itself into your wares and disappears. Keep this card in front of the target. When the action deck will be reshuffled, a piece of their gear rips off their body and floats off into the sky. They must discard a piece of equipped gear. Then reshuffle this card into the action deck. So it might never happen. But here we go. He's vulnerable, down to 3 life. Georgie will be first with the old pea shooter. 3 chances. We need a 9 or a 10. 1. Almost 2. Come on. Nothing. But I think I'll stay there for now. And Quintus needs a 5+ for his knife and bucket to hit. Yes, so that means he's down to 1 life. But he gets to go again. Knock away. Barlow sends the townsfolk flying. Okay, townsfolk with the least equipped gear will have to roll off because we're tied. Move to target, then all townsfolk adjacent to Barlow take 1 damage, and all townsfolk that took damage from this action are knocked 4 squares away. So actually, I guess we don't have to roll, because we're each going to take a damage and go 4 squares away. But here's the key thing. He's stayed in there, so this is going to be it. Georgie, pepper him. First try. No. Second. No. Come on. Third. Okay, no good. You know what? Quintus, I think, is getting into this blood magic. He's going to unequip his knife and bucket and equip his bloody wand for 2 Moxie, because it doesn't cost him any Moxie to use it. 1 damage to himself. He's down to 2 life. I think we both are. But within 5 range, 2 damage to Barlow. Boom. So we didn't get the special victory, but let's go ahead and read Barlow 7. The ghost protecting Barlow dissipated into thin air, leaving him defenseless. The townsfolk use this opportunity to surround him, grabbing him by the handles and flipping him upside down. The new sheriff plunges their weapon deep into Barlow's hull, and the rest of the townsfolk follow suit. Barlow's underside quickly turns into Swiss cheese with dirt pouring out of each new orifice. The townsfolk know the deed is done when they see Barlow's wheel go limp. Hooray, the town is saved! In the aftermath of the ruffian attacks, the town was left covered in carcasses. Who better to clean up the mess than the old gravedigger? The new sheriff restores Barlow's remains to be used for corpse carrying. Eureka Springs returns to its clean, healthy state in no time. The other townsfolk will forever remember your valiant and violent murders. Congratulations, you win the game. So there you go, that was Townsfolk Tussle. Again, sorry that the swinginess of the items coming out led to a bit of a too quick play, but at least kept the video short. But I have played a lot more of this at high and low player counts, so please check my review that just popped up to hear my thoughts on the game overall. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.